All right, this is a good example of why I could use your help. Of course, it's nice, it's important, and it's to get the ordinary people, little plumbers, contractors, bakers, housewives. But when you run across people that might be able to make an influence out there that I can reach, this is a good example. This is a man that owns an aerospace industry company. Um, Apparently, his company, a lot of defense contracting, makes parts for fighter jets. So he's not without influence. But this is a good example also of how compartmentalized those people can be that are in places of influence, uh, and how they are affected also by the propaganda. Being labeled a conspiracy theorist to them might be, one of the worst things that can happen to them socially, professionally, and to break through that veneer, it's not going to happen in their circles. They run across me, I have a shot at them. And that's what happens here. Now, will this guy take the information I've given him and look it up? I pray so. Certainly a shot, isn't it? I mean, of course, I don't hold much weight to him out there because he's an engineer. But if he goes to architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, he might question why these professionals are putting their careers and lives on the line, because say what they're saying. And that's why I need your help. I need you to go to the Patreon button. I need to go ahead and get some steady money coming in. For those that can, please. I'm not asking, I don't want to embarrass anybody out there that can't afford it. But if you can give a small amount each month, it's going to help me to maintain what I'm doing. And that is it. I just to stay where I'm at, I'm going to need another $250 to $400 a month more than I'm bringing in. And the only way I can see it is you guys. I can't do much more in the street. I can't count on the streets all the time because weather-wise. I mean, if I have a couple of bad weekends, some days it costs me money to go out, literally. So help me out to reach the people that might be able to make a difference and move our game one step further. Because this is an information war we're in. I'm fighting it out there in the street, one person at a time. But that one person I meet out there might make a difference. And that means you make a difference. That means you're in the game. So if you would, get in the game with me. Go to my website. There's a Patreon button there. Click on it. And give what you can each month. If you can only give $1, give $1. But I would like, if you can give $10, give $10. But if you can give $5 a month, if I can get 100 of you to do that, it would be a blessing beyond that you could know. We're doing it for me, folks. All of this goes right back into what I'm doing, all of it. So this is a long one. I don't want to keep it on too much. So I want to God bless you all for all of you that you have done for me to date. Those of you that can't give, of course, please spread the word. Put my videos on your social platforms and let people know I'm here so I can gather the numbers needed to get this ball rolling further. So like it if you like it, care if you share, subscribe, then subscribe again, because I keep, knocking them off. I haven't seen knocking anybody off lately. I don't know, maybe it's the appearance in InfoWars boosts me up a little bit. That always helps. I've been pushing harder out there to gain subscribers. Maybe that helps. Maybe my prayers are being answered. Who knows? That's nice too. So God bless you. Let's get into this.
Where are you from?
LA, California.
What do you do there?
I'm retired. And,
from? What did you do?
I was in the aerospace industry. So I still own the company. They just pay me not to work. So.
Most people I speak to in California are trying to get the hell out of there.
Well, we're moving to Arizona. We got to sell our home.
What happened in Arizona that they elected that?
I was really surprised at that because I supported McBride and I thought she would. Arizona's always been kind of a conservative state. And,
it used to be.
Yeah.
But I think
I think whatever. Who knows? Who knows? I'm really surprised. I really liked her. I even supported her campaign. Yeah.
I mean, to me, that divide you were talking about, how crazy it is right now, that particular election was the divide. I mean, you have the one side, you have a woman, McSally, who's by all rights should be a icon for any young lady growing up, for pilot, I mean.
She represents what women aspire to.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be, an icon.
Yeah.
On the other side, you have a woman that supports the Taliban.
Yeah. You know what? There's just a lot of discussion going on, and I think I'm far right, somewhat right on some things,
sure,
somewhat left on other things.
Sure.
I kind of run down the gamut. I don't like being labeled,
of course,
but I respect what other people think and feel, and it didn't bother me. That's the beautiful thing about our country, that we can have these conversations. And too many people, this election has just stirred up so much anxiety.
Getting back to the social engineers that projected this and knew what was going to happen, because it's just basic demographics. Liars don't figure and figures don't lie.
I know that the Koch brothers were not supporting Trump, and I look at them as being that's why he said, screw you. I can go directly to the people. I don't need you. I don't need your power. And they've manipulated the Republicans forever. So I don't know if there was a master plan. I don't know who they are, or if it was, or just Trump. He pushed buttons, and we go in the voting booth, and we can. In California, it didn't really matter. Everything goes to the left, except when Reagan ran. But with such a liberal state, you want to puke.
Well, we were close to a revolutionary state because they were trying to push Clinton and Bush on us.
Oh, yeah.
The same old.
Here we go again. Yeah.
The same old. Well, the people, we were just going, oh, no. We went to anything.
Yeah.
He's a man of the time, came along at the time, like you said, resonated with the people. And
everyone has their reason.
He was not.
But I think if he had run against someone with more competence than Hillary, like another Clinton coming in, are you kidding me? The most corrupt of people.
Yeah.
Trump may have had his map, but it was his time, and he squeaked through. And Hillary got the majority vote, but so what? I don't care. That's why we like the electoral.
Well, yeah.
Because if you didn't have it, you'd have campaigning in New York, Los Angeles, any major city. That'd be it. All the other cities would be irrelevant. Wouldn't matter. You show them where all the people are.
Our founding fathers were extreme. Again,
Genius.
yeah, again, the projection far ahead could see what's going to happen. The powers that be, the true powers that be, starting out with the international bankers, and then we go to the corporations.
Yeah.
Then we go down to the Did you make one of them?
Yeah. There's lots of parts on that airplane.
Then we go to the military-industrial complex and the military, below the governments, and then below that is us. So it's a pyramid structure coming from the top, and they had known for a long time that as people, as the numbers grew, more and more of us would want more and more of our freedoms that we've been fighting for since the dawn of time.
Right.
Well, the powers that be, of course, don't want that. They want to remain in control. They don't want to relinquish any more power to us at all. So they knew to grab a hold of all the media. 6 corporations control 90% of everything we hear, read, and say.
Used to.
Until the internet.
That's right.
Right.
See, people now don't need that.
Right.
They can get their, I get Trump's Twitter tweets every day, and I don't need. The president's talking right here to me. Now you look at all the stuff, the rebuttal, but for the most part, it's pretty cool that you can have your president. He bypassed them.
Yes, but we need more than that.
But you really do need media. You have to have media. You have to, because that's what a free society. You need someone going in there and finding out stuff that's not good.
Well, indeed, but we don't
need a lot of that.
We don't need a control meter again. That's
No. You're right. You're right. It's all everything within. Too much of any one thing.
Now, my litmus test is this. If they're taking commercial money, they're doing commercials, they cannot possibly tell all the truth.
They don't have to tell everything.
Well, I'm just saying, let me give it, for instance, even on Fox, if you watch Fox, 50% of the commercials are pharmaceutical companies. So they're not going to talk to you, expose the poison vaccines. They're not going to expose when they come out and kill a bunch of people because they're not going to do that.
But again, the world is changing in front of all of us.
Yes.
People have information that they never had. That's why you're seeing they're having problems in China. They can't control what they can't control.
They can't keep freedom down.
They're trying.
Of course,
trying. They're spending billions and billions, but they can't.
Right.
North Korea can because you got a dictator there. All right, but yeah, they can't. They can't today, and that's why it's interesting, right?
Yes.
Everyone. I'm with a bunch of former educators who are retired. We're traveling together. There's 12 of us. My wife was a school teacher. 2 of the people were high school principals, and I'm the only Republican in the group. And they're constantly don't understand what I saw in Trump. And I said it's not rocket science. I said my insurance, health insurance for my employees, went from $900 to $1,800 in one swoop of Obamacare. Yeah, honey. Anyway, so when you get hit financially because of a decision a politician made, I would never have voted for her in a million years. Her husband was a douchebag, and that Clinton Foundation, what a joke that is. It's funny, no one's donating to it now.
But I'm still irked. This is probably the biggest bone that people have to pick out here. No one has been held accountable.
Oh, that's right. Because it's a club. It's a big club.
Yeah, well, the club needs to be clubbed.
Of course it does. Of course. Maybe it will. Who knows?
Lock her up wasn't a campaign slogan. That rage is still there.
Trump's great. He may not be polished, and I really don't care. He's fixing shit, and I see what he's doing for... his comment was so stupid he made about the holding federal funds from the fires and all that bullshit out in California. And truly, that is, he shoots from the hip too much sometimes. He really needs to someone needs to look at his text.
You could have said it in a different manner, because it truly the Bureau of Land Management and the ecology.
But these if you've been to California,
oh yeah,
rolling hills, right?
Yeah.
And there's most of the stuff that burned was federal land anyway. The feds are in charge of it.
That's what I'm saying. The Bureau of Land Management
that's another
and their
cricket.
policies of allowing no clearing, the stuff to just.
Yeah.
Plus, we get into the geoengineering aspects, and you might have some knowledge of this. It's a program, the geoengineering program, where they're spraying aluminum, barium, and strontium in the air, in the atmosphere. They've been doing this for decades now. For
alleged the contrails?
Chemtrails.
Okay.
All right. There's a difference between contrails and chemtrails. The contrails disappear, the chemtrails stay. These are, the congressional records show, I mean, there's plenty of whistleblowers that show that there are, we do spray, and they do it for several different reasons. One, it's geoengineering, they say, to control global warming. Others is military aspects, in other words, to use the metals that they spray in the air to bounce off radio waves. HARP was another aspect, where they would bounce off radio frequency, microwave radio frequencies off of these metals, and pointing back down its weather modification programs. Let's say on it's for weather weapons, and they can like heat up a section that create a hurricane, and then steer that hurricane and use it as a weapon. This is all documented stuff. This stuff exists. It's not publicized because, you know, they want to keep it secret. But even China came out just a couple of weeks ago and bragged about being able to make it rain in an area 6 times the size of Nebraska. They made it snow for the Olympics. They bragged about it. So there are weather modification programs out there that have added to, because when you spray aluminum particles on dry wood, it's going to inflame even more. It burns even hotter. So when you look at some of the fires out there in California, you're looking at things that, and there's another very strange thing. You're looking at homes that burn this close to a tree, but the tree didn't burn.
Well, I live on a hill.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I clear 300 some feet from my house, and the fire department requires it.
Yeah.
Right. But those fires, those flames were traveling.
Whipped by winds. Yeah.
No, but the flame from the base was 500 feet away, flying through. Right. Those winds that I mean. I'm not into the world of conspiracies, and I know there's a lot of people that are. A lot of
they exist because conspiracies exist.
Well, that's right, and I wouldn't argue, wouldn't even try to. I just know what I know, and I get it. We were in Arizona, and this guy, and I noticed one of your posts was that was saying that 9/11 was a conspiracy. It was a plan. I don't believe that, because I know I have more information.
What information do you have that can answer these questions?
Okay, ask them.
All right. I happen to get to meet one of the architects Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth that started that group. These are some of the best architects in the world.
Okay.
And they have studied the collapses of those buildings, and they have signed their names, reputations, and lives on the line, saying those buildings came down by controlled demolition.
Well,
just the basic
physics. First of all, that is so truly. Do you realize? Seriously, do you realize they came down because of the molten heat from jet fuel that had melted the concrete and steel became liquid. And
jet fuel is made out of what? Kerosene.
It doesn't matter. It's the do you know how much fuel an aircraft holds?
Nothing explains building number 7.
That's not true. There is, of course, it came down. It came down. When you take a 1,000,000-ton dwelling that's next,
it wasn't next to it. Building number 7. Building number 7, from where we're standing, from the Twin Towers. It was from here to that red brick building down there.
Okay.
Now, it was 47 stories tall. It housed all 16 of our intelligence agencies and the mayor's emergency bunker. The emergency bunker, you could shoot a howitzer out from here and you wouldn't crack a window in it. So it was a fortress. It wasn't hit by anything. And at 5:20 in the afternoon, it did this in 6 seconds flat. Perfect controlled demolition straight to the ground.
But it collapsed on its own weight.
From why?
So, that building?
Yeah.
Because there was so much shit flying around.
Would you like to see it collapse? Come here.
Okay.
I'll show you it collapse. And you tell me what you say. Now, that's it. This is all the damage you're seeing in it is right there.
Okay.
That's the only damage.
Well,
all right? Okay. Now,
complex is on fire.
let me go back and see it again. I want you to make sure that you're seeing this properly.
I see it.
That is it.
Okay.
Just small fires. Okay. Now, remember, it's 2 blocks away from the Twin Towers, right? Watch it fall.
Well, I don't...
Watch it fall.
But that's exactly what investigators believe happened to the 37-story World Trade Center around 7 on September.
No,
Okay. No,
nothing. It fell in free fall.
I understand. What is going on over here? That's where the
Well,
tower
that-
was. All right.
No, that's coming from the basement.
Okay.
Barry Jennings, who was the emergency head for this, showed up at the emergency bunker, and it was empty. Half eaten sandwiches, smoke still coming out of coffee, and I got a phone call. Get out now! On his way out, you can see the testimony him saying this. On the way out, the bottom floors blew out.
Okay.
The stairwell. Him and another guy busted a window, and some firemen with ladders, got him out. As he's walking down the street, you can see him, the dust and the blood and all more, right? Testifying to what he experienced in that building. On his way to testify to Congress, he dies mysteriously. Now that building came down in free fall. In free fall. No restriction whatever. To do that, you have to place charges in every single column.
Is that very possible that that was also done by the terrorists?
How would the terrorists get into a building that was as secure as the Pentagon?
Oh.
I mean, it was secure as the Pentagon. We had all 16 of our intelligence agencies in there.
Yeah.
And the mayor's emergency bunker, plus $15 billion worth of gold disappeared in that basement. It's gone. How did it leave?
So what are they? So what is the? Who has the answer? Why they kept
Well, wouldn't an investigation be nice? We've never had a proper criminal investigation on here, and they started carting away the material the very next day. That is destroying evidence.
Well, again, I don't know. All I do know, at the World Trade Center, it's massive underneath. We don't even know what. And they've turned the whole basement, all of it, where the foundations were in the ground, into a museum. Right? And all these issues are addressed inside that museum.
Great, and address that. Because the architects and engineers of 9/11 Truth have done the work, and they say that they have found in the debris nanothermite. Nanothermite is a high-grade military explosive, and it's soluble in liquid. Maintenance men could be painting it on the walls; they wouldn't know it. And they estimate from the samples they've gathered that as much as 10 tons of nanothermite were in those buildings.
Okay.
Now,
here it is. Here, that's the same thing that you're looking at.
oh, mist? Yeah. Mist is completely paid off.
Oh, why the building fell. Yeah.
How does that happen?
Are you a TED Talk?
Yeah.
My niece is giving a TED Talk.
Oh, wonderful. You ought to be proud.
Well, we are very proud of her. And she was there when the second aircraft hit. She was, and the engine from one of the 6.7s went right over her, went through the building, and it was like a missile and hit.
Well, that's another thing that is kind of weird. I mean, we're talking about physics here, basic physics, and that's why I would implore you to go and listen to the guys.
No, I'm always, look, knowledge is power.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that. And I don't, you know, I can only go by what I've experienced.
Exactly.
And what I've learned. I'm an engineer. I build airplanes, design airplanes. I know how they're made.
That's why I'd love for you to go and listen to the guys that
would be
speak your language.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. Yeah. But I'm not real big on conspiracies. Only because I don't believe everything I read.
Well, that's good.
Right? I'm very. I just come up to my own opinion. Just because someone says it, that doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah,
right?
Indeed.
And this, I have a question.
Don't fuck with me, okay? Don't even.
I have a question. This is a New Yorker here, right?
Yeah.
This is Bob.
Bob?
And so. So, Building 7. Look, we were just got back. Why the Building 7 of the World Trade Center?
Yeah, building number 7. This building right here. Right?
Why did Building 7?
This is building number 7, which was from the Twin Towers from here to there. That red brick building was housed all 16 of our intelligence agencies and the mayor's emergency bunker, 47 stories tall. It was a fortress.
Why did it
That's
collapse?
the only damage it had in it. Now I want you to watch this thing collapse and tell me what brought it down.
Well, I know what brought it down.
Well, then
It was built by non-union employees. You know.
actually, it was a fort.
that's
No,
okay.
here it is. Watch this thing collapse. Now watch this collapse.
47-story World Trade Center. That's not even
That's straight down.
Yeah. Watch it. Nothing hit that building. There's no damage to it. Now watch it collapse. It's just straight to the ground in 6 seconds. No resistance.
We were talking about that.
Yeah.
What brought that building down?
Was there anything?
Oh, I don't know.
7?
Be nice to have an investigation, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't even mentioned in the 9/11 report. They didn't even mention this building there. Why?
That's a good question. Oh, I'm sure there's a good answer for that.
An engineer probably is fine.
Well, architects and engineers from 9/11 Truth on that sheet, there's over 3,000 of them that have signed their names to a paper. If they studied these collapses, saying they collapsed by controlled demolition.
Well, that's where I would challenge that.
But then go there and ask them. I mean, I would beg you to go there and listen to them, because I've done plenty of, they have evidence after evidence. You're an engineer, you'll be able to relate to it easily.
Yeah.
And it's basic physics they're working with.
So, but what is the point? Okay, assuming that somebody took it down purposefully, what is the point?
Should we know why?
If I knew why, what would that do to my life? Well, how would it change anything? I mean, I know guys that they torch the building, they collect the insurance, they rebuild it.
Well, that's another thing. Silverstein is on tape, the guy that owns that, saying they ordered the building pulled. Well, pull is a demolition
Okay.
term.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, but
So why and how and then, if that's true, when did they place the charges? They couldn't have done it that day if the building's on fire and it takes months, maybe a year to collapse.
but I'm
the
not
building.
sure what your agenda is. What is the
Well, I'm trying to get to the truth. I want to. But 3,000 people got murdered, and you're saying, "Oh, what the fuck do we need to find that out for? Why should we need to know why these people died
in that building?
How do we know? There's no investigation. Like Barry Jennings, who was the guy that was rescued from that building, said he was stepping over bodies as he was being taken out of that building. So obviously people died in it, but then again, when you listen to the official reports, they said, no, it was evacuated, no one died. So who are we going to believe? And the fact is, we got to, I mean, you can't just say, well, why should we have to know that? I mean, well, why do they just start collapsing buildings ad hominem then? Why should we care if anybody dies in them? Hell, just collapse that building. Jesus Christ, we got to know the truth of this. We need an investigation. We can't keep living a lie. How many people died in a war because of that thing? How do we know that wasn't a false flag to get us into that war? Who benefited from that? Wasn't us, wasn't the Muslims. The military-industrial complex benefited from it, though, and the national security state benefited, though, and they had the most to gain from it. And then our freedoms got eroded.
Here's the deal. We're not going to resolve it here. I mean, there's. Wait a minute. It's no different than the people say that we never landed on the moon. That was all.
No, this is physical evidence. I mean, this is real. People died.
There's people will go to their grave. We never land on the moon. There's people still believe O.J. Simpson's innocent. Everyone has their opinion. The massive conspiracy and cover-up that purposely brought down that there was a plan to do that, right? There's zero evidence to support there was a plan.
I would beg to differ. I would beg to differ on that because...
Okay, and well, I'll
I would beg to differ. Please go to that, check it out, and then, make your own judgment.
All right, take care.